What's up, family? I'm attorney Derrick G. Hamlin, and I'm about to share a story with y'all that I don't think I've ever shared with anybody. And it's about the time I was in court and I busted out into tears. I mean, crying, bawling like a baby, like trying to hold it in, too. I was trying to hold it in, but I couldn't hold it in. It was crazy. Crocodile tears, snot bubbles. Okay, maybe not snot bubbles, but look, I was for real crying. And I was in a murder case, and they were just about to they had just given a verdict. And I'm gonna just tell y'all, I've been an attorney for over 20 years, and I've handled over 40 homicide cases. And that was the first and last time I've ever bawled in court, like really cried. There were a couple times I got close, but only time. And it was crazy. It was crazy. I knew it was going to be a really tough case because the state's original offer was double life. Yeah, consecutive life sentences. That means that if you were Jesus Christ and you lived, you died, and you came back to life, you have another life sentence waiting for you, right? So the state's attorney calls me up and she's like, I got a new offer for your client and I really suggest he should take it. This is like 3 days before trial, right? So I go over and tell him we about to get a new offer. Hopefully it's something reasonable because he don't want to go to trial. He's facing double life. And for a young man, that sounds even crazier, right? So I get the offer. I head right over to the jail with it. And, I'm reading it on the way. And I'm just like, oh, she playing in my face, man. So we get over there and I show it to my client. And I'm going to tell you, I wanted to call that state's attorney out her name so badly. And I didn't even have to because my client did it for me. He was so upset. So instead of offering him 2 consecutive life sentences, she offered him 2 concurrent life sentences, meaning they would run at the same time. So, instead of forever, ever, she's offering him forever. And he's like, why she do that? I was like, she's playing games, man. It's like they think they got a slam dunk case. They like it's an easy win. Why don't we harass Mr. Hamlin and his client? That's the way we took it. I don't know any other way you can take it, but I was like, this shit is disrespectful, right? I don't know. So back to why I was crying, right? Back to why I was in tears in court. In every jurisdiction, there's a rule that prevents you from taking cases that are a conflict of interest. And they suggest that you shouldn't take cases from close friends and family members because it could be a conflict. Most of the time, it's not a conflict. But regardless, I was a young attorney, and when I was a young attorney, all my cases were my friends and family. Ain't nobody know me, right? So I represented almost every cousin, aunt, uncle, any kind of case they had, they were calling me first, right? I even represented my wife and my mom. That was just traffic though for my wife, and my mom had enough. Anyway, yeah, we like the hell with that. Ain't nobody gonna represent my family better than me. At least that's the way I felt, right? And you'll learn as attorneys, if you're a young attorney, you'll learn the more you care about your client's case, the better you will perform. You know what I mean? So yeah, representing a family member is tough. It's tough, especially when they feel like they have that strong of a case that they can play in your face like that, right? So back to why I was crying, right? So the judge asked the jury to read the verdict, right? And I'm standing there with my client. I'm composed. I know I put on a decent case. I felt good about it, but you never know. There was a lot of evidence. They had, they put on a really good case too. So the jury reads the verdict and they were like, as to the count As to count 1, murder in the first degree against victim 1, we find the defendant not guilty. Whew. All right, we get to the second count. As to count 2, attempted murder in the first degree of the second victim, we find the defendant not guilty. Followed by another series of not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. Every single count. There were so many counts. I don't even know how many not guilties I heard that day, but I was happy and thankful for every single one. Now, the pressure of representing someone and trying to save a person's life, essentially, the pressure is so crazy. It's so much. It's unlike anything you'll probably ever experience. And normally it's so easy to, when court's over, you learn to turn it off, right? But when it's your family, you can't do that. You can't do that when it's your family. And you start thinking about, like, what would Thanksgiving have been like if I lost this case? You know what I mean? So let's say, for example, it was my uncle. It wasn't, but let's just say it was my uncle. And I gotta look at his kids knowing that he's never coming home while they're eating some dry ass turkey, cranberry sauce, right? I gotta look at my aunt's face knowing that, she's never gonna see her husband outside of the jail again, And even though my grandma still loves me to death, she's probably still sad as I don't know what, that her baby, her kid is gone. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, So I tell people I never thought it was a conflict of interest. I think they're more worried about a conflict of morals. You know what I mean? So I say that because if you think about a mom who would probably do anything to keep her son out of jail for life, or a child who do anything to keep his mom out of jail for life, or brother or sister, family ties can be so tight sometimes that they're concerned that you might not care about the law, you might not care about the rule of ethics, might not care about losing your license or going to jail. You know what I mean? And a lot of people probably wouldn't. You know what I mean? But when you've represented so many people, like not just in your family, but all over the state, all over the DC, you know what I mean? When you've represented so many people and have helped so many people and changed so many lives, you never want to put your license at risk. So, for me, it wasn't really a concern, but the pressure was still enormous. You know what I mean? So I say to my new attorneys, make sure when you're taking cases from your family, you have boundaries. You know what I mean? I had a cousin who kept getting in trouble because he knew he had me on speed dial. And I got a police report. I'm reading a police report. And it's like the defendant said, "Fuck you. My attorney is Derrick G. Hamlin. And he's going to fuck y'all up. I'll be out of jail tomorrow. He's going to beat the case. And he's probably going to sue you bastards." And the crazy part is I really got him out of jail the next day. I really did beat the case. But I did not file a lawsuit against him because of what he said. But more importantly, I'm like, yo, no, you're not just going to keep wasting my time and messing up your life because I'm your attorney and your family member and I was doing these for free. So what I had to start doing was telling my family, you guys got to pay for your cases now. You'll get a serious discount, but, I might do your first misdemeanor for free, but y'all paying for everything else. And once a person has some skin in the game and they're like, ooh, do I want to fight this guy and pay my cousin $3,000 or if I get locked up, or do I want to go ahead and take my black butt home? You know what I mean? They start making more rational decisions when it starts hitting them in their pockets. And I thought my family was going to give me some pushback about, even paying me. They're like, yeah, such and such wanted $5,000, so I'd rather give you my money. I was like, all right, I ain't going to take your whole $5,000, but I'm going to take most of it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So I'm hoping that this series that I'm about to do will, help new attorneys, help families understand better what, their attorneys are going through, or what they're thinking, or how they can help them. So I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to say like, share, and subscribe, right? That's what y'all supposed to do, right? I don't know, but it's gonna be a fun series, I hope. Peace, y'all. Derrick, Legal D Hamlin, and I'm out.